All right, good evening. We're going to call this meeting to order at 6:08 p.m. First, we'll do call to order. Position number 1, Chris Durrett.
Present.
Position number 2, Martina McNichols.
Present.
Position number 3, Donald Atkinson. He is not here. Position number 4, Carolyn Waits.
Here, present.
Position number 5, Jason Black. I'm present. Position number 6, Derek Dowmlin. He is not here. And position number 7, Ty Watkins.
Present.
Okay, please stand and join me for the pledge. United States first.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, thank you.
I raised her, but I just think it's dumb.
First up, we have public comments. Do we have any public comments? Okay, having none, we will move on. Tonight, we have a public hearing. Item A, public hearing to hear comments for or against proposed project 2025-02, Grease Monkey site improvements for auto shop commercial business. The Manvel Economic Development Corporation, the corporation will consider as a project of the corporation the expenditure of funds in the estimated amount of up to $20,000 to be required or suitable for one or more of the following categories provided by state law. 1, infrastructure necessary to promote or develop new or expanded business enterprises limited to A, streets and roads, rail spurs, water and sewer utilities, electric utilities or gas utilities, drainage, site improvements, and related improvements, and B, telecommunications and internet improvements. 2, land, buildings, equipment, facilities, and improvements found by the Board of Directors to promote or develop new or expanded business enterprises that create or retain jobs, including public safety facilities, streets and roads, drainage and related improvements, demolition of existing structures, general municipally owned improvements, or any improvements or facilities related to a project described herein. 3, equipment, facilities, and improvements found by the Board of Directors to promote new or expanded business development. The project site is located at 20815 Highway 6, Manvel, Texas. Said project is to include the expenditure of up to $20,000 to be reimbursed to applicant Grease Monkey Manvel for site improvements for the auto shop facility in a commercially targeted area, which will further economic development, create commercial investment, and create and/or retain jobs in the city of Manvel. Okay, this is the first call for any public comments. Okay, no public comments. Second call for any public comments. And third call for public comments. All right, having none, we will close the public hearing at 6:11 p.m. And we will move on to our regular agenda. Chris, would you like to read item A for us, please?
Sure. Consideration and possible action to approve and forward with recommendation to City Council, Project 2025-02, Grease Monkey, site improvements for auto shop commercial business located at 20815 Highway 6, Manvel, Texas 77578, Grease Monkey, Manvel. Said project is to include the expenditure of up to $20,000 to be reimbursed to applicant Grease Monkey Manvel for site improvements for the auto shop facility in a commercially targeted area, which will further economic development, create commercial investment, and create and/or retain jobs in the city of Manvel.
Thank you, sir. So for this agenda item, we'll be approving the amount. It's up to $20,000, so tonight will be where we approve the exact amount. So are there any thoughts on what the exact amount? Should it be the $20,000 or should we change the $20,000?
You can go down.
We can go down but not up. Up to $20,000. Do we have any thoughts?
Considering our budget constraints, we may need to go down a little bit.
What does everybody think about that?
Don't make me the evil person.
What kind of window we working with as far as reaching a budget constraint? Dollar window.
You have our,
So You've adopted your upcoming budget for the new fiscal year. In this budget, you've got the other project application as well on tonight's budget, or on tonight's agenda. So in the sense of constraints, it's not necessarily that the money's not in the budget or line item for projects. It's just a matter of what the concept of is on the return for the investment and what the board wants to do for other things down the road. And then whatever amount is decided on this evening, it would be a recommendation for that amount to go to city council for final approval.
I had missed the month that we executive session this one, so excuse me for not really knowing all the details on this. But I do believe they spent twice this amount, right? Is that correct? Do you guys remember the details on that?
Yes.
And then there was going to be the alignment machine, which we determined would not be something we would be able to provide any support regarding. And so that was kind of why we said, okay, we'll go ahead and cover one of the pits. They'll cover the full cost of the other pit, and then the alignment machine, of course.
So to make sure I'm tracking, so there were two, I'm assuming there were two pieces of money, and they've done both, and they're asking for half back.
They've done,
Can-
Will you please come up to the mic for question answering, please? Hi there and welcome.
Yeah, so I was saying, we only built one, and the full project was to do two, right? So we did one, and then we submitted the application to do the second one. And you're right, we spent more money on the first one, the experience that we had on the first one, than what it was put here on this project.
So the second one has not been built yet?
No.
Okay,
We're waiting for approval, yeah.
gotcha.
and it sounds like the anticipated cost is going to exceed the $20,000.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
Yes.
Do you know how much it's going to be?
I will say between 25, 27, that's what we're gonna spend.
So an extra 5, 7? Okay.
I have in my notes, you were originally asking for 22,000. Okay.
Oh, okay, so we get 20.
Correct. The original ask was 22,000, and then during the meeting when it was discussed, it was the cost of one pit was estimated at 25,000. At that time, you weren't completely done. The second pit being another 25,000, and then the alignment machine being 30,000.
So the 22 did not include the alignment machine, and it was decided during that meeting that we should split the projects, yeah. So just, this one is for the pit.
How long has the first pit been completed?
I would say maybe 5 months now.
Can you tell us what that's done for business since you've put the first one in?
Yes, it has been good. So in terms of car counts, we have been able to handle more cars, more vehicles coming into our facility. And in terms of performance, that's also helped us to move faster with those vehicles and the oil changes that we do and the inspections that we do as well. And definitely in terms of dollars, I can estimate about maybe 20% increase of the revenue that we had before.
And have you guys sold any products? Any products? Have you sold any products? I don't know. If
So we
come in
don't
there and
sell
buy.
products, we sell services. So we sell oil changes and mechanical services. And yes, we do perform the oil changes on the new pit.
Got you.
After you get the second one in there, do you have the business to support a second one already, or is that something that you're hoping to grow into?
So we already hired a manager in preparation for this additional volume that we're going to have. And we hired one more technician already for training purposes, knowing that the project was almost ready to be approved and we needed training at least 2 months in advance. So we already hired some people. We do have, obviously, the facilities ready for the construction, so we're ready to do it, yeah.
Do we have any more questions for the owner? No? You good? You good on that? Okay, so as far as totals on that, what are we thinking as a board? The way that I hear it also is that project is really reliant on this money coming in to be able to put the second pit in. If you didn't get the full amount of money, would you be able to put in the second pit?
More likely, we will have to wait. Yes.
So in turn, initially, this would be, this would be a situation where this is a service, in the service business. So right now, we would be the ones that would just pretty much be the, how can I say, putting back in our community and helping a business grow for the growth of Manvel. That's essentially what we're doing this based on. That's
But when you do the filters, the air filters, the oil filters, I'm guessing the oil itself, all of those things are taxable items,
Absolutely.
right? So there
Yes.
is taxes coming in from
Yes.
this service.
So I went to the ribbon cutting, right? I think it's a beautiful place. I didn't even know, just based on just being there when you first cut the ribbon, I didn't even know that the first build out you have was it what do you call it? What are you building? What did you build?
The pit?
The pit. I didn't even know the pit was important. That's how much I believed in it when I was there, right? So I know it's nice, definitely support. I just wanted to make sure that I was looking at it right, that even though they don't provide products, they provide services that the taxable services.
Yes.
This would be something on us to say, hey, we have one of our own looking for help. Now we're trying to figure out where we're going to be in. And since Carolyn brought up the financial constraint, that's why I was asking about the window. Are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Just to give you a little bit more numbers, so you know we have a second location. That was the first one we opened in Texas City. We also have 2 pits over there. And we serve over there 1,100 vehicles per month. Right now, on here, we're servicing 290. That was last month. But when we started with very, very few vehicles, right? So we are going in the right direction, and we are preparing to receive the volume that we have in Texas City, just because of the fact where we're located. Manvel is growing.
And do you have an alignment machine there at the Texas City location?
We don't have an alignment machine.
Okay.
It's a different footprint over there. It's basically preventive maintenance, what we do over there, versus here, we do the preventive maintenance plus full mechanic.
Wow.
So we are putting everything on this store.
So that was another thing we had talked about was the fact that, as she mentioned, having to have a delay with the second pit without, the grant. And not only would that be prolonged, but then the ability to invest in the alignment machine would be further prolonged. So the idea that she had mentioned last time was by having the ability to get the second pit done, they would be pretty quickly able to go ahead and move forward with the alignment machine and just more quickly be able to have that increased revenue and services that they're able to provide. So personally, I'm in support of the 20,000, all things that we talked over it pretty thoroughly, I thought, in the
Yeah.
executive session. And so I'll stand by that decision that we made at that time, personally.
My opinion of it is that initially, I don't love this project, and I wasn't here for the executive session to do it, only because I think it sets a precedent that we don't want to set. I just saw another one open up down the street. If we do this, then every auto shop in town is going to come, for pits. But that being said, we've also already told the owner, hey, we're willing to do this for you. And where I come from, we do those kind of deals. We lose money. If we told you we're going to do it, we're going to do it, right? And so, although I don't love the project, I think we should give the full 20,000 just because we have already led the owner in that direction. That's my opinion of it. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. I do have one question. You said your business has gone up 20% since you added the pit. Did I hear that? Okay.
Yes, yeah.
And I would confirm, Carolyn, her thoughts that we do have budget constraints on this, and this is quite a bit of money considering what we have in our buckets to be able to give out for the whole year. And that is why I feel the way that I feel about it, is that we have to be good stewards of that money because we don't have a whole lot of it. But again, I think I stick with my opinion that if we said we would do that, we're going to do that.
I got that 100%,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so is everybody good? Can I get a motion for $20,000?
I motion the 20 grand for the pit for Grease Monkey.
I second the motion.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to confirm, this will still go to city council. They have the final say. So once it's been on their agenda and they have taken action, and I'll let you know the date of that meeting so that somebody from the board can also come and speak. That will have to come out now that it's been closed.
You're right. I had it. It was sitting right there. I got it. I'm sorry.
Okay. At this moment, we are going to push item number B to after executive session. We thought maybe the owner would be here if there was some discussion that needed to happen. We do have an executive session next on the same topic, and so we will go ahead and skip to our executive session. Manvel Economic Development Corporation will convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.087. Deliberation regarding economic development negotiations to discuss the following. Discuss economic development incentives request for Rich's Car Wash, and we will enter that at 6:24. We will end executive session at 7:23, and we will move to our regular agenda. We will go back to item B, discussion on project application 2025-03, Rich's Car Wash. Don't think we need any more discussion on that, probably, with the owner not here. So no action taken on that? Do we need to do anything?
Direct staff for the amount.
Not for B, though, right? That'll be
no,
on
no,
C.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No action taken on B. We will move to regular agenda item C, consideration and possible action to direct staff on project application 2025-03, Rich's Car Wash. Can I get a motion for the up to amount to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve up to $20,000 to direct city staff in preparation to publish a notice.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item D, consideration and possible action to authorize payment to the city towards project 2020-02, city 160-acre municipal complex project. Ms. Tammy? Yeah.
So.
Can we say no?
This one is going to be for the amount of $400,000. And that's towards the payment, so that's the amount that's needed. The nice thing is the difference during this time frame gets to stay in y'all's account and still earn the interest, and you guys get to keep that interest. So they're doing it in increments as the monies are needed.
How often is that?
So this is your second time to issue a payment to the city.
And it's annual, an annual?
The debt service payment is an annual payment.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve or authorize the payment?
I'm still a little bit confused.
Okay, we'll back up.
So what are we paying, what are we giving the city $400,000 for exactly?
So you guys have committed 90% of your revenues each year to the city.
Right.
During that time frame, we estimate what those revenues are going to be when we do the budget, and then 90% of that is put down at the expense line item to go back to the city. But what you don't do is you don't give them that 90% at the front end of the budget. They let us know when the funds are needed, and then we come to y'all to give the funds to the city. So you guys have given, I think, $1 million at one point. This is the second piece to it. So it's not, you've given
It's
it.
not an extra $400,000.
No, you're not giving anything extra.
That's what I was trying to
It's just
find
the
out.
money stays in the EDC's account.
Okay.
And you guys earn the interest
I
on it.
gotcha.
And we actually do really well on the interest on it because the money sat there for so long, and interest rates went up, we just sat there collecting. I think we actually brought in as much interest as we did
A good amount of interest.
revenue at one point. I don't know, it's probably not that way anymore, but, okay, can I get a motion to authorize the payment to the city?
I move that we authorize a payment to the city.
Can I get a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye, all opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, next we have item E, discussion on key strategies, listing by board member McNichols. And Ms. Tammy has printed off our questions for that. I think I did. Yeah, I got one.
I gave you mine on accident.
Okay, so some of these, I think, Tammy, you answered some of these questions, correct?
So, yeah, what I did was compare them to the strategic plan. So a lot of them kind of were explained already in your plan. There's a few in here that went more on the city side than for the EDC side. So like, does the city have a flow chart for city's permitting process online? They do have their processes. We've got a software online for developers that they can go on there, and it literally kind of walks them through the phase of development within the city. It's not utilized a whole lot right now, but it is available on there, and it puts them through our code of ordinances and the different steps. So it's really a neat tool. So I didn't necessarily say yes or no on that answer. It's not mentioned in the strategic plan, but we do have that for developers. And I'm guessing, Martina, is that what your question is about?
I was just asking questions for the board, something that we can all reflect on when we're doing the projects, so that when they do come to us and say, okay, how long does it take, something that we would know.
So that, I don't know if that's really spelled out in that software. But I would say we have processes for pre-development meetings that whenever they're fixing, and they should have already had their pre-development meeting and gotten all of the information before they've even come to y'all to know if they can do it in the proper zone, if what it's going to take, so they'll know what questions or what dollars to ask y'all for. So again, it's not necessarily all spelled out bullet point on the website, but there are means of them getting that information, and there is that software that the city's purchased for development in general.
Okay.
The, let's see, do the boards collaborate and the council? Again, we're working on the city strategic plan. You guys were doing your strategic plan. They brought in the community on both plans. Obviously, every meeting that's had is an open meeting, so the agendas are posted, the boards know about the meetings, the council know of the meetings, and the public. So I think we kind of are aligned on the same vision and goals right now, primarily because the strategic plans are so new, and the cities is still working with the thoroughfare plan and the comprehensive plan, which will involve boards and the community. How is Manvel shaping and positioning its product to compete for investment? That one, again, I just pulled that out of the strategic plan. Not sure we're in a place right now. It's kind of coming. We're not out necessarily soliciting it. People are hearing and knowing about Manvel and how, I don't know, but they are, and it's pushing this way, so we're not really having to go out and solicit it to position our product. We are the product, I think.
Tammy, I'm going to pause you for just a second, because I think in my eyes on this, you know, we've all got a copy of this, and I know that Martina went through the list of questions for us last time, and thank you for answering all the ones that you could answer. I think it's important for us, more as a reflection than Tammy giving us answers to these questions, of us picking some of these questions out and saying, how do we feel as a board about these questions? And number one's a prime example of that. What's our short-term and long-term priorities? And how are they being communicated to stakeholders? We do have a strategic plan. Something that we as a board need to decide is, are we going to stick to what we did in that strategic plan? Are we going to put our investments in there? Are we going to put our time towards that? Because to this point, we haven't really, right? I mean, we have it there and it's kind of on the sidelines. We're looking at it, but we're not following it to a T. What out of that do we want to follow to a T? What out of that are we kind of pushing for more of a long-term goal? Maybe the Old Town Manvel District is something we would love to do, but maybe that's like a 5 or 10 year plan rather than a next year plan. And so, and I don't even know if we can answer all these questions while we're sitting here. I think having the list and being able to read through them would be beneficial to us. And maybe we just pick 1 or 2 things per meeting, every meeting, that we can just kind of have our reflection item, right, where we're reflecting on a couple of these things. We can go through as many as you guys want to go through tonight. But I don't think it's fair to Tammy for her to just sit here and answer all of these questions for us and us not have any feedback and what we think on it, because we know Tammy and the staff work a ton on this stuff, and we know we have a lot of this stuff in our strategic plan. But just because it's listed in that strategic plan doesn't necessarily mean that it's reflecting what we're doing or how we're feeling. And so I think as we move forward, going through these questions and deciding, yes, we're going to stick with this plan, this is what our goals are, this is what we want to do. And some of you guys weren't on the board whenever we did the strategic plan, right? And so some of us just getting familiar with what that is and why we felt that way. And this is a good time as an agenda item for us to be able to talk about that, because some of us were on the board for that. That's my thoughts. Any thoughts beyond that from you guys on how to proceed with it?
I think also in addition to the reflection, as far as like with Miss Carolyn and Ty, is for what we had spoke about Tammy, Miss Betty to come in again and give us an overview since we have the 2 new board members, and Miss she's with the Alliance. Is it Patty?
Patty?
Miss Patty.
Oh, Patty, yeah.
Yes, and then they also have, I got an email about the sales tax workshop. Maybe if we can approve at some point for them to go. So that'll get them up to speed as far as everything with the EDC, as far as what we can and what we can't do.
And I'll send that email out. That one's going to be for the one that comes each year. It's in the, kind of over by Hobby Airport.
Yes.
I think it's a half a day, or it might be a
All
full
day.
day.
It's all day.
8 to 4, 8 to 5 seminar that they do for the basic understanding of economic development.
To Snowball Martina, is there a conference for EDC?
So that's the one that Martina went to, but the one that's coming up it's not a conference, it's a seminar.
Okay.
Basing that you have to have, typically Bobby keeps up with that when one person,
Several people by statute have to go every 2 years.
yeah.
So
And we've just kind of
Director or attorney, I think maybe the board chair or something like that, every 2 years.
offered it to everybody, and I think most everybody as
Yeah.
it comes up is,
So that's the seminar, or that's something totally different?
that's a seminar. The conference is what Martina just got back
Got you.
about.
So it's two things.
Class.
Or I'm sorry, a class.
Class,
The
okay.
conference, there was one in,
Antonio,
where was it, Fort Worth?
Fort Worth.
That's the one that Chris and Martina went to, right?
No,
No,
that
we
was
went to a
a
class.
Oh, that
class.
was a class.
We went to like an EDC class.
Okay.
Basic economic development course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The conference was what we were talking about making Bobby go to, wasn't it?
So we did it.
Because you had to have a staff member.
In the past, the conference, 2 board members went for, at that time, we had entertained an agreement with a company called Retail Coach.
Okay.
And so they went to help take the information we got from Retail Coach and try to get businesses to come to the city. I think we bit the bullet a little too early on that one because none of what we gained from that brought anything to the city. It all came on its own through the town center stuff. But I don't know what the date is for the conference that you're referencing.
So either one, throw me on the list, right? Because I really want to,
I was going to ask a question.
I really want to,
For sure, you'll
Yeah.
get the one for the class.
for sure.
because
I don't take advantage
it
of all that,
explains
yeah.
exactly what the role of
Position.
what the EDC does and the importance of it and what the law changes are with it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm excited about that. So you definitely get a reply from me. But to go back to the what you mentioned about Tammy reading, I had a suggestion, and it just popped out: enhancing quality of life or strengthening the local economy. Right? Do y'all think it's a good idea, or would be a good idea if we come to a situation, we determine if it's quality of life or it strengthens the local economy, but as a unit, we decide what we're focused on that moment or that day? Because if we're all on quality of life, anything about pushing that back in the money wouldn't be a topic of conversation. It'd be a little better. And then if we're all about local economy, now we're talking about dollar signs, right? And I mean, the people always will matter, but I think if some of us are on quality of life thoughts and some of us on local economy thoughts, it may cause a delay in some decisions. So I guess I say that just to add, another layer to what you were discussing, so it'd be easier for Tammy. So when you do bring these type of conversations up, or Martina brings one of these type of these packets, questions for the people, nothing specific, just kind of, if they come to us, we at least have we're in the ballpark to know what we're working with. So that's just a suggestion I thought about. It just popped out. If we focus on what we want to discuss, that particular thing, is it quality of life? Is it for the people, or we're trying to build the economy, which are both extremely important, right? And I think that's what MEDC plays a big part of that. And I think that's what makes us so important.
I can just add, in my opinion, quality of life brings better economy. The library system does surveys to find out what folks are lacking in their area that they would like to see if there's anything that the library system can do towards that. And when I was at the Manvel Library, the number one thing people wanted was stuff like parks and walkability and not losing that nature aspect that Manvel already has. So, yeah, that stuff is really important. I already forgot what my question was going to be.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
While you think, I can, go ahead, you ready?
Yes, I remembered. Okay, so just out of curiosity, like you're talking about this retail, I know that in Austin in a couple of weeks, there's I don't even know what you call it, a convention or a conference where all the retailers are there, and then the representatives from the cities go around and talk to them and try to sell them on their city. Is that what you were talking about?
So that is what the conference was at the Melody and Karen, the past board members attended. It was in the Fort Worth area, I think,
Okay.
that they had gone to, and to make contacts with different businesses that were listed in the report that the retail coach provided for them. So, yeah.
Okay.
And retail coach was at our course that we attended to. They presented.
Yes, ma'am?
Sorry.
I mean, I was just, if I had to say something, it would probably be that personally for me, I think the biggest hang-up regarding the strategic plan was if there was a possibility that we were going to look at, renegotiating considering the possibility of renegotiating the 90% deal with the city, that obviously would make all the difference in our budget. Even if it's us going from having 10% to 20%, that's 100% more than what we've got. So, I know it's been a couple of months, and so I guess I'm curious where we're at on that. Is that anything that's in motion in some ways? And if not, where we stand as a board in looking at that?
Yeah, I know that, conversations have certainly been had amongst, between staff and council and us regarding that deal. And I'll go on record saying I don't love the deal, but it takes a lot of participation and everybody in agreement to make any changes to that. And, we have already borrowed against it, and so there is a pretty good chunk of money, a little over $1 million, that there's nothing we can do about that. That's always going to be tied up in that deal, for a pretty long time. I want to say it was 30 years or something like that. I don't remember. Do you remember, Bobby? So it's a pretty long commitment for us. But everybody's got to be able to come to the table and come into an agreement on that. And to piggyback on that, at this point right now, that 90% that we're giving is really for quality of life, because most of that 160-acre project is a quality of life project. It's parks, it's, and so there's a lot of aspects to that project that I like. It's a huge project, and our $1 million a year isn't going to get that project done. So, we need direction from city council, I think, on that, to know what are your plans for that. And we always kind of felt like we're on pause until we know what they want to do with it. If it's something they don't plan on doing for the next 20 years, well then, yeah, maybe we need to discuss our situation and see if we need to renegotiate it and figure it out. Mm-hmm. One of my thoughts on that is if we do want to renegotiate that, and then as projects happen, the city comes to us to help with those projects specific, kind of like what we do projects now, and they say we need $200,000 for this park. But because we're getting all of our money, and we have $200,000 that we could do something with, then maybe we could approve that and help with the projects on a project-by-project basis rather than on a just sending the 90% and you guys do what you want to do with it. But again, at this point right now, we don't have any control over that. That's something that everybody's got to come to the table and be in agreement on. Us as a board first, that we want to even take that to them, and then they would have to entertain it. And I'm not sure where they all stand on that, so.
Yeah, and based on, the conversations that I've, observed and things, it seems like there is interest there on, in council, from what I understand. And so my curiosity would be, would it be like a workshop between EDC and council that would move the ball forward in either, getting rid of the ball or, or taking a shot with it? So I guess my question is, would it be like a motion that would be made to direct, staff to present that request to have a joint workshop with city council? Is that what that would look like, to take a next step with that?
So for tonight, there's nothing on the agenda for that agreement. You guys are talking about your questions here. But I will say they did have a city council meeting, and you guys can go back and watch I can send you the link to the presentation that was done just at I think it was the last meeting, on a possibility of developing that area for a private partnership with the company. So maybe watch that and see, if they decide to go that way, that's definitely those dollars are going to be needed, is what I'm trying to say. So I think at that, maybe council needs to decide more on that before you try to bring them to the table on something, because right now, I think you're just going to get shot down, because that piece has to be, the agreement's done. And to give that money back before they've decided what they're going to do with that would be a little premature. I think if nothing down the road comes out of the presentation, then definitely I think it might be time. But I think maybe watch that. I'll send you the link and watch it. It was a really good presentation, and it really could open up a whole door for the city, the EDC, the community, for some development out there.
And definitely the private-public partnership is, I'm not going to say the only way that this gets done, but it's probably the largest percentage of it being a successful project, because it's a lot of money. And it's just not something that the city has access to funds to do anytime in the near future, with or without our funds. And so what would end up happening is our funds would just continue to sit there and not get used, not get put back into the community, not get reinvested. But if they can figure out a way to make the math make sense and get that developed, then it could be a really cool, really nice, viable project, and something that brings, a lot of quality of life. It's got retail, it's got all kinds of stuff to it. And so it's just a really big project.
Well, into question number 9, I know we didn't get that far on this list, but to stick on topic a little bit, number 9 is the question, is the city seeking funding from grants? And so that's something that I just wonder how much could be left on the table regarding even this project, that project, ways that we could be more intentional, perhaps. So my feeling is, and I'm definitely very eager to watch the presentation, and if I was on council, I would be, wanting to take this conversation that we're considering the possibility of into consideration with that decision that they're going to make regarding that project. So it could kind of go either way, of it being premature to have the conversation, or, would it potentially be beneficial? But I think I would have to see that presentation to really fully understand. So it sounds like maybe next month's meeting, we do have an agenda item specific to that. And then by that time, we've all seen the presentation and kind of are more prepared to, make a motion of some sort.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think that's great, Chris. I think it'll work good.
Thank you.
I guess my thoughts on the questions going forward, everybody probably can take this copy and go over them, and maybe we'll pick a couple that are key ones to talk in conjunction with that project also for next month's meeting, and then we'll go into a little more detail. I don't want us to hit 12 questions up. I think it's just good for us to go maybe through 2 questions, and just have an agenda item for it. Yes, ma'am?
So how will we pick that? Do you want us to like email you what our top things are? Email Tammy? Oh, come on, Jason. Okay.
Tammy's the gatekeeper. Okay, is there anything else that jumps off the page on the questions that you guys do want to discuss tonight?
Well, there's 12 questions, so even if we broke it up into 3 questions, 1, 2, 3, next meeting, and 4, 5, 6, and then that way we're saying, okay, in 3 months, we'll have all questions done.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think a couple of these probably don't, I don't know, we can go over them. If they don't have anything to do with us, and it'll be a quick conversation, right? So we'll just leave them on there, and if there's nothing to it, then there's nothing to it. Okay, everybody good with moving on? Okay, we will move on to our consent agenda. Could somebody please make a motion to pass the consent agenda?
I make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Okay, can we get a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. There you go. Okay, do we have any other notes, Ms. Tammy? That's it?
That's it.
All right. I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor? Passes 5-0.